Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I'll be checking out a new track from SAL3M, which I have been awaiting since their last release, which I did cover on the channel. This is a band that I absolutely love. There are not many projects that scratch the same itch for me that SAL3M does. For those of you who are not familiar with the project, Matteo is their vocalist, who used to be the vocalist of Novelists. This project is just amazing. Every song that they've put out so far has been incredible, so needless to say, I'm very excited for this release. I will link all of SAL3M's promotional links, social media, all of that will be in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it.
Place where the wind goes when the edge stops. From a narrow path through the valley, one-way road to the silence. Don't let me forget all the miles that I was alone. The stars are gone from my eyes. Don't ever act like you see them. You're letting me drown. Yeah, you're letting me. You're letting me.
Transition to that chorus was perfect.
Lights in my eyes have disappeared. You've never seen it, no. That is why we've done enough. Pushing the darkness paradise. I know the fire burns, just like the past. Don't ever change. Don't like letting off this mind until there's simply nothing left. I know the fire burns, just like the past. Don't ever forget change.
Ooh, with the echo.
The stars are gone from my eyes. Don't ever act like you see them. You're letting me drown. Yeah, you're letting me. You left me alone in the dark. Don't ever act like you see me.
Man, all those vocal layers in the chorus. The only problem with SAL3M songs is I never want them to end. SAL3M, Stars, let's discuss. There is just something incredibly special about Matteo's voice, so that the fact that we, one, got to hear him in the material that he put out with Novelists, and two, that we get the second project, SAL3M, which has put out nothing but stuff that I really enjoy. And whether it be a track like Fucking Easy that kind of taps into the more aggressive side of their sound, or Walk on Water, which is the lighter side of their sound, it doesn't matter to me. It always ends up being something that I end up listening to a ton of times. And I think a lot of that has to do with what Matteo brings vocally. He's able to drive tracks just into this place that without him, it just would not be the same. With this track, it's no different for me. It's got a little bit of a different feel in the chorus, I think, than the tracks that take shape somewhat like this in Salem's discography. Of course, this being the 7th track, there's not a ton of stuff yet in the discography. I do hope eventually we'll get a full-length release from Salem, because there is no doubt in my mind that it would end up being a favorite of the year regardless of who else releases that year. It's just, like I mentioned in the beginning, just a sound that I don't really get the same feeling from listening to most anything else. This is no different. Not even just the vocal performance either here, the transition to the first chorus that I mentioned, the transition into the part, I don't want to call it a breakdown because it's more of just a section that has screaming than like, a full-on breakdown. And having the, if you really pay attention to the details in that part, which of course, me only having heard it once, there's probably still more stuff for me to pick up, but not only having, a more aggressive sound to this song in that portion of it with the screams, but you're still getting the, there are keys that you can pick out in that section of the song and such. The chorus on this, the vocal layers were a huge draw for me. That last chorus, I can't tell after just one listen, and I didn't go back and check if there were more layers or a different approach there, but it shined more for me on the second chorus, but I still could pick that out in the first one, if that makes sense. So there's like the sparkly side to the song that I would say the keys touch on, like I just had mentioned. The chorus having those vocal layers is a huge draw for me, because Matteo's voice is beautiful to begin with, but then we get something that has like, there was one part that had layered singing. There's some screams that are put in there as well, so kind of giving different angles to that part of the song also, which I love. I think picking this stuff apart is like me ranting about how much I love this band, but I do think that they do it in a very special way. It's hard for me to pick favorite tracks too. I don't think this will end up being my number one, because that will be a very hard spot to fill, but it's gonna go right up there it's very hard to rank these tracks for me because they've never put out anything that didn't land and end up getting a ton of listens for me. So ranking them is a very difficult task for me. Amaranthine is probably my most favorite. There is just so much to love about that track, and I won't go too far into it. I'll try to kind of keep on topic of the song at hand. But the lyrics on this too, I think something like "the stars in my eyes have faded" is what's said at one part that just kind of like really hit me. So I'll need to read through the full lyrics as well. So all that being said, the chorus is very catchy. Even on that end of the last chorus there, I was like picking up those lyrics, and I don't know why I said. Now that I'm like replaying the chorus in my head, it's "the stars are gone from my eyes." That part is so catchy to me. And then you have the part where it kind of strips back, and then you get just Matteo singing that before it kind of gives you a little bit more of the song, and then it ends. Like I mentioned before, I think the one thing about Salem is it always leaves me wanting more music from them, whether it be this song having another verse and chorus in it or something. It's just because I love the sound so much, and I always feel like these songs go by like that when I listen to them for the first time. And that's another reason amongst many that I would just love a full release from them, because having the one tracks and then just kind of itching for more, that's really the only downside to being a big fan of this project, I would say. So while this feels a little bit different, it still has the Salem sound. Like the songs, not Walk on Water, that song's very different, I think, in terms of what the other, if you include this track, the other 6 songs they have show. But I think that also kind of shows that they have the potential. Whoa, I left my notification sounds on, sorry about that. But it sort of gives the the range of their sound something extra in there, a different potential for a full length, you know, a closing track or something. Who knows what they'd be able to do. And we also know that with Matteo's voice and some of the different sounds that we've got from it. He's done some fantastic features as well. He did one with the Dolly Thundering concept on Lost in Transaction. That is my favorite track off of that record. I love that feature so much. Probably one of my favorites to come out of the last few years, but it's just phenomenal. I think the character of his voice just automatically brings something different to the sound of a song. It's just probably one of my favorite vocalists to ever do it, and so that's another reason why I feel like in these outros for Salem and stuff, I'm just sort of like, I love this band so much. How can I do this outro without feeling like I'm just ranting about how much I love this? But those are the things I really enjoyed about the track. I could use more of it would be my only notes. Nothing about the sound or anything. I think this style of chorus, while feeling a little bit different from the other, I guess I don't want to call it more upbeat, because it still has that like darker groove to it, kind of slower feel in this chorus, but it's just different from the other choruses that they've done. And again, that kind of excludes Walk on Water, because altogether the sound of that song is just held in a different place for me than the rest of the tracks in their discography so far have. So okay, now those are my thoughts on first listen. This will be getting a ton of plays for me. This will be a song that goes on repeat, and I'm sure the more I listen, as I learn the words to the song, the chorus, I'll just end up loving it more, singing along to it a bunch. It's going to be stuck in my head because it already is the part I mentioned on the chorus and such, so I'm going to go right back to listening to this a bunch. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I will link all of the band's social media, promotional links, all of that stuff will be in the description of this video. Other than that, you can also find my link tree, which will have my Patreon, Twitch channel, invite link to the Discord server. Any link you may need related to my channel will be in that link tree. I do a lot of different things on Patreon. We are on all tiers voting for the 2023 lists. That's choruses, albums, EPs, songs, riffs, I already said choruses, breakdowns, things like that. We're getting an idea of where we are before the actual end of the year appears, and we have to get that final draft together of what we're voting on to be the top for this year. I do mixtape / playlists for tier 3 that I update monthly with how we have all sorts of notifications going on. Come on. Don't even remember what I was talking about. Patreon, I offer stuff. It's all listed out there. If you want to check out what I'm offering, it's listed in the tiers. Twitch is where I do all my streaming related to music. I do request streams once a week, usually Tuesday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 3 p.m. 3 p.m. EST and 7 p.m. GMT. I think the time change is coming up next month or something, so that will be rearranging, but that's what it is right now. And I'll be doing some additional music related streams. If you want to be notified and see what I'm doing over there, feel free to give that Twitch channel a follow in the link tree. And like I mentioned, Discord is where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We've got a lot of really wonderful people in there, music lovers talking about music and things that are completely unrelated to music as well. So all that in that link tree in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.